name's Chad, and I bought a fixer-upper. Um, it's been a few months since I've given any updates, and it's time to put one out. So I'm going to do a quick tour of the house and walk you through what we've been working on. You may or may not notice those steps are not the ones that came with the house. I replaced those last fall, actually. So you probably already saw them. Coming in the front door, we have got probably the newest thing you're going to see here is this. This was a French door, and I'm turning it into a normal door opening. It'll stay like an opening; it won't have a door in it. But this will let you move between the kitchen and the living room and dining room area with a little bit of separation, hopefully to help with sound, and a little bit of cutting back distraction, because things can happen, right, that you don't really want to be distracted by in the two different spaces. Some of the challenges that came with this project are thank God there was a header up here. I was a little worried when first looking at this that they didn't build one, but they did. It had sagged a bit, and so I spent a little time trying to get the sag back out of it, and got a jack out and pushed on it and tried to get it put up there right. A little bit of improvement, but not a lot. And for some reason, old-timey carpenters didn't understand physics so well. So you can see the original stud, little cripple stud on the right, does not really make contact with the bottom surface. So I've gone in with another little cripple stud next to it to try to fix that, and I had to do that a few times. Another fun thing, and you won't be able to see it very well because I've covered it up, but down under here, maybe you can see a little bit, this post that was the edge of the door had so much weight on it from carrying all the weight from the upper floors. It was punching through the timber underneath it, punching through the sill plate underneath it. And so I'm going to go downstairs and show you what that looks like. But yeah, I've been debating what I should do about that, and I think I'm just going to leave it. It's not perfect, but it's fine. It works. And with that, the only thing I really have to do is frame these windows. And the lighting's not going to cooperate, but old-timey windows didn't get solid framing beside them. It's just a pocket for the weights. So I'm going to take the weights out, and I'm going to stick a stud in beside the window and I'll have to also put a header in. I'll put a header in over the window and another stud down the other side and a plate underneath the bottom of the window. And I've made the decision that I'm going to replace the original windows, which breaks my heart a little bit because some of this glass is really beautiful, but it's just not practical. I'd have to rebuild most, if not all of them, from scratch, and I also have a number of broken panes. That would need to get replaced, and so I'd need to find a supplier for the original glass or go with the mixed, which I don't think is going to look good either. People do say, and I've even seen studies that say that if you build the wooden window correctly, it can achieve nearly the same energy efficiency as a modern window. But I don't think I really have time to learn that. And I don't want to learn on this house. So we have our beam system in. I think I've talked about that before. Real proud of that. That temporary plumbing is going to come out not real soon, but hopefully soon. When we got the beams all the way in, I was able to take out, you remember we had the Jesus beam up here, right? And it was supported by a couple posts that was on some carpet. So I took that carpet up, and I found an enormous amount of termite damage, which I knew was there, but it was a little discouraging to see. And I've pulled up all of the finished floor that was eaten through, and I've been playing around with the subfloor a bit. It's all got to come out. None of this is going to stay. It's all going to come out back at least this far. And quite frankly, what I intend to do is take up the whole floor all the way to the front door, way out there. Whoops, pardon my camera angle. Take it all the way out to the front door, and then if you remember me talking about the problems with this house, there is an original sin in this house that causes a sag right where my finger is. It comes right straight down through here, especially on this north half of the house. So if I can pull the finished floor up, I can correct the subfloor and then relay the floor, and that's just part of the damage that's on the floor here. There's also a fair bit of water damage over here, which you can't really see too well, especially with the sawdust and the mess on the floor. But you see the cupping on the wood here. It's a good indication that there's been water damage. And I have another patch of it over here, really right underneath where the saw is at. So it's, again, it's hard to see, but it is here. And then, excuse me, when they renovated the place and they put the kitchen in, they put this little wall here, this little half-length wall. Took that out, and over here, of course, where my lighting is terrible. Well, hang on a sec. Okay, here's a flashlight, and of course, it's not gonna. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, so you see all that white and all that rot. That's water damage from the chimney that was here in this corner. Went up through that. Well, you can't see it here. Went up through this hole. I'm pretty sure there's a wood-burning stove, or maybe two over here, one for each side of the original wall. And I don't think they kept the flashing up, and probably for a couple decades it was just water sliding water into the house, and this is one of the spots where it really came down pretty hard and heavy. And so this floor is all rotted, and this section here, pointing out my finger in a second, so like here, that's all rotted, that's all got to come out. This section is also badly damaged. Not sure what they did here, but it's not original. So I would have to take this part here, not original. I have to take this out. And if I keep this floor, I'll have to piece it back in. And one thing I could do, and I think I've talked about this in another video before, another more patch of water damage here from that same chimney. And that's why I rebuilt this left side of the 2x4 wall. Which is another project that I just recently finished, so I'm gonna try to stay on track here. But yes, I did do that. I ripped out the rotten subfloor. I put down new subfloor. I put down this, I'm probably gonna get the word wrong, sill plate. And I built this 2x6 wall to be a wet wall so I can run plumbing and drain down this wall from the second floor, second story bathroom, which is supposed to go right above kind of what I'm pointing at the camera at right now. So in any case, if I keep the wood floor, I can piece it in, try to piece it in. I'll have to salvage it from somewhere. I could potentially take up one of these rooms and just pull up the whole floor in it and try to use the pieces and parts for salvage so that I can piece in like back here and where that separating wall was between the two units. And I damaged some of the floor when I was trying to correct the sagging on the second floor. So pulling stuff like that out, getting that fixed, I could potentially do that. I had kind of thought maybe I could go upstairs, and don't look too close at the beams. They're not exactly perfectly true, but that's what you get for piecing it in after the fact. I could go upstairs and pull floorboards off the second floor in various rooms, but I'm not ready to demo that yet. And I've been looking up at the bottom side of the floorboards up there, and there's also fair bit of water damage up there from the various leaks and whatnot that they had over the years. So I'm debating whether or not I should just buy all new floors, and I don't really want to. When it's good, this stuff is beautiful, and I think I want to give it a shot, at least try to sand down the stuff that I have that's good and piece it in where it's not good. At least for the first floor, and then maybe do something on the second floor, maybe do carpet or something up there, I don't know. But the subfloor here, the damaged subfloor, is a big project. And honestly, it's where I'm going to be focusing a lot of effort next, because in order to replace this, I would either have to cut the new subfloor around this pipe, and this pipe delivers water to my living unit right now. I'd either have to cut the subfloor around it, and then when this goes away, I'd have a hole in my subfloor. It's only a inch wide or ½ inch wide, but it's obnoxious and I don't want it. And I would like to get the water working. I would like to get a hot water heater, a proper hot water heater in the house, and I would like to get the plumbing issues sorted. So kind of what I'm thinking next is to run plumbing from the main entry point down in the basement, we'll talk about in a minute, to at least the living unit that I'm in, and then try to stub it out to the other plumbing that needs to go in the house. So yeah. Another project that we had, and actually I had a friend come out and help me with these two projects, is I don't think I took much footage of the back door because I was embarrassed of it, but it was wood and screen and rotted nearly off the hinges, and well, it's covered in plastic, and it was just garbage. So we ripped that out. We put in this new storm door. Nothing back here is level, so just bear with me. I don't think I'm going to try to correct this porch too much. I will probably try to rip up this floor and level it when I can get back here. But the big thing is that I now have a proper locking door on the back of the mudroom entrance, which is pretty nice. Another cool thing we were able to do is the other back door, the door to the basement. And this is that. And if you remember that door, I was a little attached to it. It had a lot of character, right? It was made for good photographs, but it did not make for good job of keeping the weather out or keeping bugs or anything else out. So I went to Menards and I got this on the clearance rack, and I was just going to replace the door itself, so I wasn't worried about the swing. So I just bought what was on clearance, marked down, and would roughly fit. And then we, of course, reframed the opening, put in a new header, got the thing in, got it working, because we realized we didn't want to cut it back and try to fit it in. Plus, the original frame, I mean, it wasn't necessarily rotted, but it wasn't really in great shape. So now it swings inwards, which is not great. And I may try to replace it with an out-swinging door momentarily here if I can get that sorted out, which should be really easy to do because I've just got some screws holding it in right now. I didn't put any adhesive under this project. But yeah, in order to get the new opening framed, we had to take off some of the shingle, the siding shingle, and that was a little rough, and I need to get back up there and try to piece it back in so it doesn't look so bad. And we were able to take some of the old telecom boxes off that weren't going to be used, and I'd like to call the cable guy back out to rerun their ground, so that's not in the way. And I've got an electrician lined up to help take these 4 or 5 meters down to 1 meter, which is very exciting. It's a long-term goal of the project is to get this whole project off of the multifamily registration and set up with with the city, with the utilities, and make it a single-family home again. So that's a big step. You're also going to notice that we took out the upper half of this back stair that went upstairs. I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to use it. It was in the way, especially for getting behind the beadboard that was on the surface of this wall so we could get back into these studs and make this header. So we took it out, and I'm thinking about what I want to do with this space. And these big, like I think it's 1 gauge or 0 gauge wire that run the panels upstairs, electrician's going to probably reroute all that. At least he better, because it's a problem right now. Yeah, reroute all that, get that out the way, and then I think I'm going to make a little closet back here, or some kind of like little shelf by the back door where you can stow stuff on the way in. That way, you don't have to juggle a lot of things. You can just get the back door open and then dump your groceries or whatever right inside the door, and then manage everything else from there. So I might do a little shelf or a piece of countertop or something like that. Anyway, down to the basement. I haven't been doing a whole lot down here except cleaning up lately and trying to get ready to do a few other projects. So I want to move the main electrical panel onto this wall, which is really close to the service entrance, for the power utility, and is going to be a little more practical for actually using it as a single family home. And so I've got to do that. I haven't done it yet, but I got to do that. It's going to be some quality time with the drill and the masonry bit and the tap cons and some treated lumber. It'll be fun. And then once I get that done, then I can get the electrician out and he can move the main panel here and move that over there. And then when that is moved, then I can take this, try not to trip over anything, take this little wall down and get the rest of this space back. We took down one beam. No, we took down both beams that were up here. There's one, I do not know what I'm going to do with it. I probably need to sell it. And yeah, it's just kind of in the way right now. I still kept all those doors, and I had these dreams of restoring them and making them beautiful again, and they're just, most of them are in such terrible shape that they just need to be entirely rebuilt from scratch if I'm going to do anything. So maybe good for dimensions and hardware, but probably not great for much else. Yep, so I'll be cleaning the floor, be cleaning back there. That's this space back here, and it's not all clean, so forgive me. But this is an old shower pan with a drain in it, and that's where I want the water heater to go. So I'll clean the rest of this crap up and make a little platform for the water heater, and then we talk about where the water heater can go. And then the plumbing can run kind of like it is now. You see the foil? It'll run probably through one of these joist bays because it comes in the back room on the wall there. It'll come up, I'll show you, go in the other room, come around this way, and then zip down one of these joist bays, pop into the hot water heater space, and then go back up out through the house for distribution. It's going to get interesting down here because I do have to do some framing to correct some things, well, not correct some things, but to get the plumbing to code and not do the same thing they did upstairs originally and make it collapse. So this post is new. This post is going to be permanent. I need to drill that in. This is over here where the water comes in. So I need to shut it off at the street, get in here, drain it, take the pressure off of it, open disconnect this this valve assembly. I think it's called a gate valve. I'm not a plumber. Disconnect this, and replace this with something that's not 100 years old, so it's not going to fail on me. It's been doing okay the last couple of years, but Lord, it makes me nervous. Once I replace that, I'm going to be doing PEX through the rest of the house, and that's a cinch to take care of. Oh, and now that I see it here in the camera, I remember this beam. This is a temporary support beam back there, and no longer serves a function, so I need to take that down. And then this little guy here also needs to come down. And I'd like, I put these new joists up to try to replace the insect damage crap. I may just go and hog out all the insect damage garbage, just so it's not here anymore. It's certainly not serving a structural function anymore. But yeah, super fun. Oh, and this is, I'm pretty sure I talked about this in the last video, but this doorway is the first source of the first problems in the house. So I think I talked about this in a previous video. The top of this header that they put in is probably an inch or two lower than the bottom of the next floor joist over here, which means that there is a dip at every floor above it, right along here, and it runs the whole length of this half the house. And to correct it would have taken probably both my 20-ton jacks and a scary amount of weight. And I just said, I don't want to put the house under that much stress at this age, considering that this is probably 100 years old. I think it is. I think they did this probably about 20 or 30 years after they originally built the house, which put this work at about 100 years old. And I don't want to do it. I think it's dangerous. And it's not necessary. If I can rebuild the subfloor so that the finished floor is level, it's unnecessary, and it's safer and better. Well, not better, but it's safer to do it this way. Yeah. One last project over here. I finished the stairs to the basement that my dad had helped me start. What is it, 2 trips ago now? So just finished putting studs up, and now that entire stairwell from the basement through the second story is all supported and framed in, with the exception of a few spots that I'll probably try to patch when I get up to. I'll show you that in a second. But yep, that's it. And we put this big 4x4 post in because of this intersection here. So this joist that runs the whole length takes on this little shorty guy here, and wasn't really supported very well with what I had before. So put this guy in, and he should do a good job holding it up. I do have to finish my Tapcon work, so don't look too close to the Tapcons. They're not done yet, and I'm going to trim up the end of this thing. And yeah, gonna trim it up. Gonna try to make it as much clearance as possible to get into the basement, because there's not a lot right now. But you know, it is what it is, and unless I really want to redo the stairs, it's what I've got. So it is what it is. Gonna live with it. I have a little more demolition to do in the basement because we still have a few pipes that have been really tough to get to. But eventually all the old steam's gonna go, and I've only got like three or four sections of pipe left. And at some point, maybe next winter, I can focus on replacing the headers over these windows, because it's just some 2x6 and it's or 2x10 or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the two dimension that matters here. It's just wood over the window. I hate it. It's terrifying to me. It should at least be treated, which probably didn't exist when they built it, but I want to at least go in and do that. If not, do some sort of metal plate or something that's gonna stand up over the years. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of updates on the house. And oh no, not quite. Actually, the other big news is I got the loan. So I got a loan for more money than I want to talk about, and it's probably not going to be enough to do everything. But I got a loan so I can hire out the electrical, potentially hire out the plumbing if I can find a plumber who's available, hire out the drywall. I can probably do insulation myself. I'm about ready to put an order in on a whole house air conditioning system, which is the most expensive thing I've bought since my truck. And yeah, so that is that. It's been extremely difficult to work in the heat. I don't like it. I don't think I'm built for it. Hated it when I was little. Hate it now when I'm old. Maybe my 20, 30 extra pounds of gut aren't helping in that, but yeah. Oh, now that I'm up here, I walked upstairs. Not sure when I'm going to do it, but we need to redo the roof on this porch too. So that'll be fun this fall. Yeah, good times. Thanks for watching.